Russell's heart sank so fast it may have knocked a few ribs out of place on the journey. Before him was a barren, empty booth. They were too late. So much speeding, so much hurrying, and it hadn't been enough. They'd taken too long, and now their shot at answers had slipped away. When or if they would get another was anyone's guess. Slowly, Russell began to turn, but a bright streak of color caught his eye. A woman with multicolored hair was rising up from beneath the booth, cracking open a cold soda as she did. Russell's feet carried him closer, his attention caught by the heavy makeup and nose ring the woman wore before he noted the edge of a cooler that could be seen just behind the booth. She'd been hunched down getting a drink. Russell's heart leapt back up twice as quickly as it had fallen, overshooting his chest entirely and lodging in his throat. This was it. He was finally standing on the precipice of answers, and the moment was overwhelming him. Sherry didn't seem to suffer from such grandiose inclinations, as she sauntered past him and hunched down over the booth's counter.
"Hey, you work for Broken Bridge? Because we've got some questions for you all about the weird stuff you've been churning out." "Name?"
If the woman was fazed by Sherry, she didn't show it, merely sipping her soda and making the demand in a neutral, even bored voice.
"Excuse me?"
Sherry seemed more annoyed by the detached response than she would have been by being ignored, and Russell knew his sister well enough to see where that would lead. The last thing they needed was to get tossed out when they were so close to finally getting answers, so he pushed his sense of foreboding aside and stepped up to the counter. "My name is Russell Novak, and this is my sister Sherry." Unlike Sherry's demands, this got a reaction from the woman. She raised both eyebrows and set down her soda. Holding her now empty hand, her fingers beckoned.
"You got the name right. Now let's see some identification."
Confusion seemed to have displaced Sherry's annoyance as she watched her brother dig into his pocket and produce a driver's license, barely used. The woman examined it thoroughly, like a bouncer searching for a reason to keep someone out of a club. She turned it over several times, ran it under an oddly colored flashlight, and even tested the flexibility. Eventually, she was satisfied and handed it back to Russell.
"I'll be honest, I wasn't sure you were going to show,"
the woman said. Rather than reaching for her drink, she rummaged in the booth's contents just out of sight from what Russell and Sherry could see.
"The first ones were here on day 1, and since then it's been nothing but killing time and dealing with people asking questions I can't answer. Wish you'd made it here a little sooner. My job ends with the last pickup or the convention's closing. I could have been paid for a whole weekend and only worked a few hours if you were more prompt." "The hell are you talking about?"
Sherry leaned over and tried to get a peek at whatever was happening under the booth.
"I'm talking about the book."
The woman raised her head quickly, nearly clipping Sherry as she did, and turned to Russell.
"You're here for the last one, I assume? I mean, it was your name on the list."
From below the counter, she produced a shrink-wrapped book bearing the Spells, Swords, and Stealth logo across the top. Gingerly, Russell reached out to accept the package, staring in mute awe at what he already knew was the next step in his party's journey. They'd been doing smaller quests since the last module ended, leveling up and gaining some new gear. At the time, Russell had believed he was laying groundwork to something grander. It was only as his hands closed around the book that he realized everything they'd done was nothing more than killing time, waiting for exactly this moment.
"Hold on a damn minute. How did you know we were coming?"
Sherry demanded, not nearly so easily placated.
"I didn't know shit," the woman replied. "I applied for a temp job a month back and got hired. All I had to do was receive a shipment of books, come to DoubleCon, and give them out when the people with the right names showed up. Everything else, the booth, the cooler, all of it, was here when I showed up. I assumed you all did some sort of special pre-order or something, though why they wouldn't just mail the freaking things is beyond me."
She reached under the counter, scooping up a backpack and grabbing her unfinished soda.
"Anyway, I'm out of here. You two already cut it close enough. I'm not getting stuck in end-of-con traffic for you people. Have fun with your book."
"Wait!" Russell finally managed to look away from the gift in his hands, turning his eyes